is my weekly podcast, A Story and a Song. Today, I decided to get some fresh air, so you'll see me out in my Florida sunroom as we talk about part two of finding your soul's singing voice. Now, as you get ready and get acclimated, if you are interested in listening, let me check because this is a new technological setup and I want to make sure that you can hear me okay. I want to make sure that there's actually volume. Oh, yeah, look. Okay, all right, so it's working. Yay, YouTube. Okay, all right. And I see there's already somebody on here, which is great. So, again, this is Debra Cohen. I'm an indie artist and a new author on Amazon for a book to help people in the midst of this propaganda war to understand the factual documented truth of the history of the origins of Palestine, because a lot of people are being misled by propaganda and they don't understand that Israel is not to blame for the way things happened, meaning they achieved statehood, and the Palestinians, even though they were offered several times, their leaders refused to accept the terms of the statehood. So it's all here in this book: Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict, by yours truly, Debra Cohen. Okay, all right. I don't have all my bells and whistles in the technology, so it's just plain old me here sharing information and hope that it interests you. And thank you for joining me. First of all, if you missed part one, you can find it on my YouTube channel. The handle is at the @ sign Jewish Rock Music, where you will find all of my archived live streaming. So let's jump right in. And again, I appreciate you listening. Let's talk about the importance of finding the voice of your soul. According to the prophet Isaiah, chapter 29:13, quote, "The Lord says, these people come near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me." So get a picture in your mind of this: people singing or praising God with physical skill, mental, whatever, like a talking head. It's all talk and there's a disconnect from the heart, some people say, but it's really your soul. There, God says, their worship of me is based on merely human rules they have been taught. So you can have a crystal cathedral voice and not impress God in the least bit, because if you aren't singing from your heart, that's not going to impress God at all. I'm not telling you who God is. Everybody has their own idea of who the Creator is. But this is to find out the difference between a physical voice and the voice of our soul. Each one of us has a soul. It's up to us to learn how to tap into this. Just like any skill, as a baby, we're not born with skills in carpentry, and even, well, some of us have gifted voices, very few, typing, whatever. You have to go to school to learn these things. But first, you have to have a desire to learn. Then you have to find a way to learn, meaning a teacher. And then you have to practice. Don't give up. You have to get rid of all of those negative thoughts in your mind that say, I can't sing. You don't want to hear me sing. Oh, no. Those thoughts were learned. Somebody told you that you couldn't sing. And how do I know this? Because I've gone through it myself. My mother was the worst critic of everything I tried to do in the way of singing with the Beatles. So I just stopped singing because I get tired of the negative comments. I bought in to, I believe them instead of myself. I didn't know that I could fix my voice by taking singing lessons. I didn't know that I could build my singing confidence by going, in my case, to a psychotherapist. Really, my words can destroy people. So if you're singing and people are knocking you, maybe you need to change your circle, at least when you're singing. That's what I would recommend. That's what I had to do. And it'll be a lifelong battle to overcome the fear of singing. And maybe some of you out there listening are familiar with this. But anyway, the importance of singing, not just for the experience, but to please God. If you're listening and you want to please God, why don't you tell me in the chat? Or maybe you're not sure. Why don't you in the chat tell me where you're listening from? That would be a good start to get to know you. All right, now I'm going to share an article. And again, this is part 2. So if you missed the intro, you can find my live YouTube videos archived on my channel. And the handle is at Jewish Rock Music. I think that Christians and Jews would be primarily interested in this. Or, if you're not a believer, that would be okay too. So I am going to look for the article while you post in the chat. Don't be shy, but be nice, please. Okay. Of course, it's never there when you want it to be. But fortunately, I remember the URL, Devakut. Devakut. Okay. Devakut. And again, thank you for listening. This is Debra Cohen Music.com. I am a new author trying to help people to find better ways of coming together in song to please our Creator. Whether or not you believe in Him, He might surprise you when you start singing from your soul and show up. As a Jimi Hendrix, I was a Jimi Hendrix fan. In a band in the 80s, I had the Marshall Stack. That's how I blew out my eardrums. But man, it was an experience. He got it right. Jimi Hendrix experience. So I'm telling you that you can sing from your soul and have an experience. And once you get a taste of what that feels like, you will keep on singing. You will develop confidence, and you might even discover that you are able to sell music online. Okay. Do you want me to stop praying and start shouting? Hello from France. I sing so bad. Lelouch Lara. She says, or I assume you're she, uh, my father had a perfect ear. He was the most beautiful singer in the world. I sing bad. I want to pray. Yeshua. My daughter, 12, has a beautiful voice. Well, this may help you because it's not about having a beautiful voice in the beginning. It's about discovering where the voice is coming from inside of you. Now, you're probably describing, Lara, that your daughter and your father had a gifted physical voice, but I'm talking about the voice from your spiritual self. So you first have to recognize that the physical voice is you're using the parts of your physical body to sing with your soul, but you're not just singing from your body. You're singing from your soul. This is a revelation, an awakening that can only be discovered by faith. Okay. Who says that power comes from a shout rather than a prayer? Do you think I have no eyes to see or ears to hear? That my heart doesn't revolt? That I have no desire to give rein to my sorrow and disappointment? What is there left for us to do? In what direction are we to go? When you come to our celebrations, meaning prayer, church, congregation, synagogue, whatever your celebration is, you'll see how we dance and sing and rejoice. It is the chassid's way of proclaiming, you don't want me to dance? Too bad. I'll dance anyway. You've taken away every reason for singing, but I shall sing. You didn't expect my joy, but here it is. Yes, my joy will rise up. It will emerge. It will submerge you. You must sing. You must sing to find that voice. Welcome, Leandro Alejandre from Brazil. There is a straight line between the last sentence, you must sing, and the attitude of singing. Okay? Now, there's a Rabbi Shapira accepted and surrendered to the fact that the world simply is. He had an unblinking, candid assessment of events and acceptance of the enveloping waters as they are. Suffering, Sufferings crush the human mind, sweep away every human conceit of understanding and security, every conceptual underpinning of foothold. Shapira understood the battle against the psychological disintegration and paralysis. It is hard to raise oneself up, in this case, your voice, time and time again from the tribulations, controlling ourselves, overcoming depression and broken spirit is indeed very difficult. And I know this. Oh, thank you, Aaron Victor. He says I'm a good reader. Thank you. Maybe because I'm a retired school teacher. But even when in the depths, we must find the inner strength to rejoice in the face of troubles. We must stand firm in this trial. So I'm telling you, like, if you're depressed or sad or you can't find a reason to sing, you can use your soul's voice to express that feeling, to convey it to others, because there are others that are feeling like you. Maybe, maybe you don't know how to express yourself emotionally. But again, first is the recognition that your soul inside of you has a voice. Okay, while fully acknowledging torment and horror, the fact that Shapira did not allow himself to be crushed by the events of the war was surely his greatest teaching all. His singing was all the more poignant and powerful because it did not receive any confirmation from the surrounding environment. So, this is what I'm telling you. If you sing like I used to, um, if people said a negative comment, it crushed my spirit. I lost the power of my voice and resorted to insecurity. How many of you know that experience? It's not good. And for years, that's the way I felt when I tried to sing affected by the surroundings around me. You can't let those people or things affect that power and that soul voice within you. In the desert landscape of absence, he managed to find presence with a capital P, which means your understanding of God, not as a response to a favorable stimulus from above, but initiated by his own capacity for self awakening out of darkness. And maybe some of you are sitting in the dark, not literally, in your dark place. Because of this crazy world we live in, it's easy to be consumed with worry, fear, sorrow, but don't let that take you over. Be strong enough and believe in yourself, not what somebody else says, to find your soul voice and use it to make this world a better place, to reach out to others that have the same feelings as you, to create your own singing circle. It's healthy. This emphasis on singing, on finding something to do, to focus on other than misery, is, or social media propaganda, is more nuanced than just choosing to be happy. The latter doesn't work in the midst of a truly awful situation when stress and negative emotions such as anger, frustration, sadness, fright, guilt, and worry burst forth. Simply choosing to be happy is impossible in terms of brain chemistry. However, I can moderate negative emotions with the aid of distractions, as Schneerson advised. Even a little light dispels a lot of darkness. Try to think as infrequently as possible about your problems until you completely dismiss them from your mind. In other words, when you try to sing, you'll have negative thoughts that come in. Don't focus on them. We all have that issue. You're singing at people and you see somebody with a frown on, you automatically think they're frowning at you. No, maybe they're having a bad day. You need to just let that go by your mind's eye. Let it go by, and keep your focus. And Lara says, but it is also true that some people in church are singing awful and annoying, even if they sing with heart. Sometimes you can't stand the voice of someone else in prayer groups because it's disharmony. Yeah, I totally get that. The singing leader at this congregation, he had lots of spirit, but he sang off key. And at first, as a trained musician with with an ear to sing, it was like fingernails on the chalkboard. Ah, yes. But I learned to appreciate his heart. And if it is so awful, I understand that. Maybe there's a nice way for you to find some ear training online. It's called ear training, where you could suggest it to the church leader, and not the person directly, unless you really know them as a close friend. Don't try to tell somebody that is singing off key. They'll take offense to it. You got to go to the leader and suggest it in a nice way. That a lot of people, most people I know, do not know there's free ear training online. You just have to look for it. If you have a voice, you want to sing, but you can't hold a tune, look for some ear training online. In No Pearls Before Swine, she's saying the lion used to lay with the lamb, but now the wolf dwells with the lamb. Yeah, we're in that end times where the appearance of evil, the evil has the appearance of good, but you don't focus on that, do we? We don't. Our job while we're here is to make the world a better place. We were told in the Bible that yes, in the end times, people would, just like it is now. We got American college students where I am protesting for Hamas. Hamas is a terror group. And it, come on, people, really? Okay, so we don't think about, let's not get into their soup. Let's get on our own and stir up our own sauce and share what we got. They're not more powerful than you and I, but you need to do something about what you got. Everybody is here for a reason. What is your reason? Don't do what everybody else is doing if that's not in your heart. Okay. So do not dwell on them. This means not even thinking about their harmful aspects or how to overcome them, but completely disengaging your thoughts from those problems and engaging in other matters. Whenever the thought occurs to you, at once turn your attention to any other thing. Okay? Does this strategy work? Can I accept and surrender to the fact that the world simply is? Feel the anger, the frustration, the sadness, the worry, the fright, the guilt, but moderate those emotions, i.e., control my thoughts and imaginations with the aid of distractions? Is it possible to copy Job in the Bible? Quote, I recant and relent, being but dust and ashes, end quote. Now there's a man with strength, and you can have it too, because the strength doesn't come from Job, it comes from the Creator. Yes, I find this strategy does enable me to sidestep, at least a little bit, the psychic state of being overwhelmed by circumstances, being without breathing room, or the capacity to conceive any life alternative. This is the state of the chetzer ruach, or shortness of breath. Shortness of breath. Sometimes, even today, I have no reason to be nervous when I get up to sing, but that shortness of breath takes over because usually it's the PA system is wrong, or the sound man doesn't know how to get my voice in the monitors, or worse off, when you're singing publicly, there's no monitors. Oh, Eva, boy, I can't believe that. The phrase Chotzer Ruach is from Exodus 6:9, when Moses tells the Jews that God will bring them to Israel. But they wouldn't listen because their spirits were crushed, which is the common translation of Chotzer Ruach. Oppression burdens both body and spirit. You don't have to be a Jew to have this apply to you. If you have a crushed spirit, anybody can have a crushed spirit. It narrows the horizons of thought and feeling. It's an invisible force crushing the individual. So, what does this have to do with singing? Everything. If your spirit is crushed, your voice is going to be wimpy. Distraction is an effective tool, albeit not perfect, for moderating anger, frustration, sadness, worry, anger, fright, guilt, all of which coagulates like clots, CLOTS. Can you sing a little prayer? Toda Rabbah. Amen. Well, I don't sing to Yeshua, but it's okay. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. I sing to the God of Israel, and we got the Lara. You've got, what do you call it? Pentecost. In Judaism, we call it um, Shavuot. Shavuot, and it's coming up soon in a couple weeks. So I can sing a prayer. This is a prophetic prayer. I'll sing it at the end if you want to hang on, okay? In English, I'll sing it if that's what you're asking for. So, creating the clots create a depressive deadness and blocks your joy and mine. Their weight must be lifted so that joy has the opportunity to uplift and heal. Don't they say the joy of the Lord is our strength? So, strength, that spiritual strength comes from a divine place. God does not reside in the midst of dejection, rather in an atmosphere of joy. They shall take hold of gladness and joy, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Isaiah 35:10. Or as Jerry Seinfeld described laughter, it's the best thing in the world. It's a couple of seconds of weightlessness where everything in your mind that you worry about is gone, says Jerry Seinfeld. You don't want me to dance? Too bad. I'll dance anyway. This is what you have to get to in your mind to sing from your soul. You've taken away every reason for singing, but I shall sing. You didn't expect my joy, but here it is. Yes, my joy will rise up. It will submerge you. You must sing. And so I will sing. What do you want me to sing? You said a prayer. Uh, okay, here's one. And this is Psalm 103. Adonai sfatati v'takofi yagid tehilatecha. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path, and he will direct your path, and he will direct your path. That's in Proverbs. So I thank you for listening. I hope my prayer was a blessing to you. I thank you for tuning in. I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel and also check out my new book to help people understand the true origins of Palestine so that we can speak up for Israel, not in hatred or retaliation, but in love. Just stating the facts and let God do the rest. Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, a history of conflict And don't forget to share my music, debracohenmusic.com. I thank you for listening and hope to see you again next week on a story. Thank you, Lara. She said, merci. I can feel your heart. Oh, that is the best compliment to give a soul singer. And so, how do you start? I guess I really need to tell you how to find your soul voice. Find some special music to you to praise God. That's how I found it. And I use a guitar. If you can play an instrument that enhances the feelings, it's you have to stir up feelings first within you. And if you got a brick wall there, then you have to find a way, like I shared with you, to find joy in your heart. However, you find joy, the joy of the Lord is our strength. Sing that song until you fear nothing, fear no evil, because God is with you. His rod and his staff, he comforts you. He anoints our head with oil. Our cups runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Reading scripture aloud with faith will bring that joy. And then start to sing that favorite song and allow yourself to get to the point of openness without fear of anybody listening, criticizing. You might have to find a safe space, and that is when you tap into your soul voice. Thank you for listening. Find my book on Amazon.com, and I thank you very much for listening. Shalom to your home, and happy Pentecost Shavuot.